I am so glad you are here. You have no idea today. I've been looking forward to this. I have probably Darrell with me. Are you Darrell today?
I am Darrell.
Okay, that's wonderful. See, it pays off. You playing the odds, it's all good. Uh, and as always, we're going to start with what are we drinking, what are we wearing, what are we drinking? You know what? I still haven't replaced my fancy little tea steeping heat, I'm just drinking straight old tea. It's not even decent tea. I'm not going to show you the brand because it's in a tea bag. And it's like, yeah, I have nice whole leaf tea at home. But with a little honey, and it's fine. It's good. And what are we wearing? Look what I got. I got two of Tracy's Treasures. I've got a rough cut tanzanite, and I've got this, this one over here, this amethyst, which is sometimes called a chevron amethyst or a 7-layer amethyst, just because it's got the cool banding. I love these. And I think it's nice to have the polished and the rough. That's what caught my eye, at least. So what's going on? What is happening? Well, get your tickets for Black Willow Starling. Of course, they're not coming until October. It's October 8th. It's a Thursday. But $15, you're going to get a full set of music. That's more than an hour. We're going to have so much fun with that concert. So grab your tickets. We have a limited capacity here. So get them while they're hot, basically. Last night, we had more of Herbalism Year 1. I know that has a fancier name, but I never remember it. We had a blast. We talked about the liver. I got to wax poetic about how I think it's an 8-year-old boy and why. It's just fun. Tonight, Herbs 3, so we're going to get a little more esoteric, a little deeper into the subject of herbalism tonight. Those are 9-month-long courses that meet weekly or all day for 1 day a month for 9 months. If you are interested in starting an herbal journey where you get to go in depth with your herbs, the next Year 1 class will start in September, probably on Wednesdays. So check it out online. The QR code somewhere on the screen. It depends on the format you're looking at. But it'll be happening and it will be fantastic. Sunday, the 14th, this first Sunday coming up after today. Today, by the way, is the 10th of June, 2026. At 1 o'clock, the afternoon tea and tarot. That people have loved. We've gotten rave reviews, so come check it out. This is a by donation class. You can look at the information on our events tab on our website, or you can come in because it's a by donation class and pay when you attend. Both options are fine. You'll see an array of choices there. And we had a registration this morning for one of the classes, and it was so sweet because the person picks their own price so they could pick a price a little higher than even the ones that we put up, which is so generous and kind. And my heart goes out and thank you so much for that, because that money helps the teachers and it helps the shop, and it's a great thing. All the donation classes are like that. At 3, we're going to have a free event. This is story time. If you like guided meditation and want it fed to you through a children's book, or if you have kids, that's a good excuse. Bring them. We have a ton of kids' books here, and we're just reading 1 or 2 of them on Sunday starting at 3. So figure on 15 to maybe 30 minutes, depending. You're welcome to sit in. If you have a squirrely kid, of course, do sit in, or a really little kid, do sit in. But if you've got school-age kids that would still be entertained by this and you want to spend at least 15 minutes like sneak shopping around, go for it. Jamie reads the stories. She's fantastic. We were going to have Sarah Cura here for a little trunk show and some chakra readings, but she has had a little bit of a family emergency and is not going to be making it. Just word to the wise, the Sarah Cura event is not happening. Sunday, June, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? Sunday, June 21st. At noon, Reiki 1. Folks are signing up for that, which is fantastic. That class is always a little variable. We'll go over a few hours of course material. We'll do the attunements one by one, kind of the old-fashioned way. And then we'll spend an hour or 2 or more practicing with the energy that you were just attuned to. It's always a good time. Who doesn't need an excuse to meditate and think healing thoughts, right? I love that. And of course, at 3, story time again. That's going to be every Sunday for a while. At 4, Jessica Sedergren's support group. By all means, if you're dealing with any form of chronic illness, whether you have recovered or not, because as she herself can tell you, being cured of cancer, having cancer in remission, does not mean you're done seeing your oncologist. It does not mean you're done with testing. It doesn't mean that there's not still that sort of Damocles hanging over your head, you're just waiting on some level for that other shoe to drop. come in, get the support you need from a more pagan perspective, a more open perspective on religion. She's also written a great book on this subject, and we do have a couple of copies here in the shop. So check those out if you can't make it to the support group, or if you have a family member that you'd like to support who isn't necessarily the most traditional religious person in the world. This will give you some ideas for what they can do to celebrate how they want to celebrate life and meet with their gods. Sunday the 27th at 3, we have Magical Astrology. This is Adam's most popular class by far. It's been a great trip. On Saturday, that was Saturday the 27th. Sunday the 28th, Reiki share at noon. Always fun. 3 p.m. story time. Always fabulous. We kicked it off last Sunday. We're having a good time. And at 4 o'clock, Palmistry 101, which already does have someone who has signed up online for that. Thank you again so much for that. And always to review, parking options here are the street. We do not have off-street parking. The street parking, or St. Clement's Catholic Church, which is from Lowry and Central, which is our nearest intersection. It is about 1/2 block west on Lowry Avenue, and it'll be on the south side of the street. So if you're turning off of Central onto Lowry to go west, it's going to wind up being a left-hand turn to get into that parking lot. It has 2 entrances on Lowry, and it's got another one on the block. You know, if you miss them and you turn at the corner at the next real corner, there's another entrance for that parking lot right there as well. They are happy to host all of us. I had a conversation with them before we even opened, and it's just a lovely space. And I've donated. Didn't think I'd ever donate to a Catholic church ever again, but I have because they're nice enough to share their parking with all of us in the community. And readers. The reader schedule did change. It has finally been updated officially on my piece of paper. I literally bring this in to remind myself, talk about this. Yes. Yeah, it's a good thing it finally got updated. Yes. So today, Wednesday, Eshu will be with us all day long. Tomorrow, you will be here starting at noon until 3, followed by Ravenwolf. Friday, it's Eshu from noon to 4, and then you again from 4 to 6. So if lunch is not the right time, he's here later on Fridays. Saturdays is an even split between Eshu at noon to 3 and Margaret from 3 to 6. This is the only time she's here. Catch her while she's here. All of these folks are excellent readers. Sunday, Eshu's with us all day. Darrell, on Monday, you're here at noon to 2, followed by Morpheus, who does dream interpretation. He's really good. So if you're stumped on a dream, if you've looked up the symbols and you're like, that does not fit me at all, he can help tease out what it means. Those readings are never super long. I mean, we're talking 5 to 10 minutes, but people leave really helped. It's impressive how good he is at it. Tuesdays, Ravenwolf is here doing tarot readings from noon to 3, and then you're back.
Yep, 36.
From 3 to 6. That's our week. Next time, maybe I'll do it by the reader. And then I have a few pretty things to show you. First and foremost, we had run out of probably Darrell's amazing Florida water, which is getting good reviews. Part of it is just the pretty bottles, but part of it is really good Florida water in here that is completely handmade and is done in small batches. So I can't guarantee you it will always look the same. Also, this bottle has a slightly bluish cast to it, and it's going to change the way this looks too. And there's another style of bottle that's pink rather than blue, right? Yes. So they look different. It's the same batch this time, same stuff. I thought I'd show you some of the used books that I have just brought up from the basement that are all in that $19 and under bracket. So they're just out here on the shelves for you guys to peruse. And I just grabbed some because I liked them. So this one is The Song of the Brook. This is a famous Alfred Tennyson poem. And I just love the layout. I love the cover. I love the fact that the edges are gilt. And I also love that it comes thoroughly illustrated. And there's a list of illustrations at the front. So there's all of these pen and ink, these ink drawings in here that are just lovely, that kind of stretch out the poem for you so that it's worthy of a little book. It's if you know someone who likes Tennyson, this actually would make a really good gift, I think, if you like him. Another one that I really enjoyed was Blessings on the Wind, which, if you'll notice, is only a little bit of book because it has a little pocket in the front that contains some of the small prayer flag strings that came with this book originally. It looks like 2 were used. And then the Blessings on the Wind itself. This is a lovely little book full of great text and beautiful illustrations. It's just a fun little book. What's this one go for?
Cover.
It's a really cool cover. It's $10. I mean, again, would make a great gift, which is, I hadn't thought about that when I was picking these out, but now that I'm looking at what I picked, yeah, they're pretty books. They would make good gifts. That Tennyson one, by the way, I think is 19. And then if you want to take on the afterlife and psychic abilities and all of those weird and wacky things that we like to play with here, but you want that take to be kind of antiquated and old, Morris Maeterlinck, so I'm guessing you pronounce that last name, The Light Beyond. It's just another very pretty book. I love the rough cut edging on the pages and the fact that the typeset is so small for the page. It's so different though compared to how a book would be laid out today. I just think it's a cool looking book. And I've read little bits and pieces, and some of it I find funny, but some of it I find really insightful and valuable. So for a different perspective on energy work that maybe you haven't seen because it's from, I'm going to say like the 19 teens is my guess, but let's see what it is. The Light Beyond. Is it Morris or Maurice? I don't know. Yeah, 1913. This one was printed in 1916. It's in good shape. I think it's $15. The steal. Anyway, you know how we price these things. We price them to move. We just undercut what they're valued at online a little bit for you guys. But that brings me to the maker of the fabulous Florida water, probably Darrell.
Yeah.
Who is Darrell today?
I am Darrell today. and I've been given the question, what's in the Florida water? A lot.
That is a good question.
And when people ask me, my mind just doesn't remember. So I'm going to share with everyone right now my ingredients.
Got it on the phone here.
Yes. So I start off with oranges, grapefruit, and lemons. And then I have 91% isopropyl alcohol, which is what...
Don't drink this.
Yeah, don't drink this.
It's not
Don't
alcohol
drink.
you can drink.
Absolutely not. And then I add some oils to it. I add lavender, chamomile, peppermint, lang lang, and rosehip. And then, after that, I get into the herbs. And it's peppermint, nettle, sage, basil, dandelion. I'm going to say this wrong. Anise?
Anise is the correct way of pronouncing it. The other one is anise.
Okay. And then lemon balm. And then it's ending with sugar and cinnamon, which is what makes it sweet to use. And those are the official ingredients. And I actually have, I don't know what this will show.
Let's see if it shows.
When I make a batch, I put them in half-gallon mason jars, and on the mason jar itself is the ingredient list, so I don't lose it.
So yeah, you're just reading off the photos of the jars that they steep in.
Yes, yes, and that way I don't lose the ingredients, any of it, you know. And after that, I do cut it down to 33% alcohol instead of the 91% because we don't need people spraying 91% alcohol on themselves.
Diluted is a little better in this
Yes.
case. I agree.
Yes.
We don't
Yes.
want any little burning sensations or uncomfortability.
Yes.
So
Yes. And my favorite way of using it is in a spray bottle. I have this little spray bottle. I do a cleansing or clearing, and then I just spray it, and it just puts in that nice, it replaces what's left. It's easy.
It brings in all the sunshine and joy and cleanliness of those herbs, because over and over again, and fierceness. So there's definitely herbs that symbolize joy in there, herbs that symbolize this space is clean, it's cleared of negative energy, and there are ones in there that come with a little bit of a bite to them. Like, and we mean it. Don't challenge us on this, you will lose. So I love Florida water for that.
Yes.
It's a very old-fashioned remedy. And cologne, by the way, it's a traditional cologne.
Yes.
And we've definitely had people who bought it specifically to wear because they're going somewhere they want to have better luck, better positive energy, whether that's their wedding in one case, or more commonly, I'll be honest, gambling. Heading lighting up to a casino is one of the reasons people will wear this as opposed to spraying it in a space. But yeah, it filters the air nicely if you're spraying it out in your space as part of your cleansing. And I'm a big fan when it comes to cleansing work of you clear the space, you create a boundary, don't leave it as a vacuum. Fill it with something that brings a little joy.
Yes.
That can mean incense you love. There's all kinds of ways you can do that, but this is a great traditional way to get that done.
Yes.
So,
and I like to point out that every time I'm a reader here, if you come by and you want to see what I'm talking about, I will show you, because every time I do a reading, I end up doing a clearing of the space when I first get here, and then I do spray it down with my Florida water.
Yes, and it smells lovely in that pocket.
Yes.
It really does. Which, by the way, that's right. We went over the schedule. He's here. You're here, what, 3 times a week? No, 4 times a week.
Yep.
With your Oracle deck that you created yourself.
Right.
And I love the artwork, but I also just love the design of the deck. The way the cards have been cut, I think is really cool. It's a great concept for doing readings. And I'm sorry, I'm going to compliment you too much, but love the readings, because not only when you auditioned with me, but when you read for another reader here, because I always encourage all the readers, give a short reading to anyone on staff. They'll recommend you more heartily because you did that. Just give a 3-minute reading. Go for it. 2 cards, 3 cards, whatever. And you give a reading to another reader, and exactly the same thing happened with that reader as happened with me, which is you were uncannily accurate and had absolutely no idea what the reading meant.
Yes.
Which I love when a reader can do that. You're like, oh, yeah.
I like to say it's not me, it's the cards.
Yes.
You know, I will say, just to toot my own horn here, this weekend I was at a show, and I had a very Christian, non-believing in any of this stuff person come to my table, because I was giving away free little 6-card readings. And he decided, okay. He's figuring it's going to be an entertaining show. And I did the reading, and it was probably the most positive reading I've ever had in my life. I couldn't believe it. It's like, wow. I was like, you've really done great things in your life lately. You've really changed yourself around. I don't see any negative here whatsoever. I was like, I'm probably not going to get a paid reading out of you because there's really nothing here. and he became a believer that day, because it wasn't just, a show. The cards are saying, and it did turn into a reading.
Excellent.
Yeah. He wanted to know what his destiny was. But even that part of the reading was very positive. It gave him an opportunity to see that he could take a hobby that he thought he had to give up because of kids and everything else.
Real life, yeah.
If he incorporated the kids in the hobby. And he left with some really good things to think about with that. It was awesome.
And that's the whole point of a good reading.
Yeah. Had to share that one because it was such a
that is very cool.
Good part of the weekend.
Actually, in a weird way, it reminds me of a story in Lon Milo Duquette's book, Ordinary Oracles, which I think we have a copy of in stock right now, where he talks about the first time he read for somebody at a party. He took out his tarot cards, and he didn't believe in tarot. He thought it was stupid. He thought it was bunk. And he gives this reading, and the person freaks out at the accuracy, which then in turn freaks him out for days.
Yeah.
It's amazing how well it can work when you just let it do its job.
Yep.
And that's the whole thing of, it's the cards.
Yep, it's the cards.
It's the cards.
Definitely.
And you also, because you do things like the Florida water, are offering a class here.
That's right. Next month, we're doing pendulums.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Practical magic. And we're starting with pendulums. You make beautiful pendulums. You brought in one today.
Yep.
This is just one style that probably Darrell made.
What I like about this, it does have the protection for the evil eye. It's handmade.
There's green aventurine stone in there.
Yeah. And something else I brought with me that a few people have told me about is I also make these plates. Now, these plates are for runes, but I've been told by multiple people that they use these with their pendulums, and it gives the pendulum more energy. And I believe them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work for me.
That's okay. Maybe you haven't studied runes enough yet.
I don't know. It's just every time I put a pendulum above one of these plates, it just stays still.
Hmm.
I don't know. But yes, we're going to be talking about pendulums, how to use pendulums, how to pick them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to introduce an idea that I saw was a pendulum inside of a jar. So if you're a person that shakes a lot, if you find me, whenever you see me using a pendulum, you almost always see me holding my other arm like this because I shake too much. And people tell me that's wrong. I think it's right.
It's what works for you. That's what makes it right.
But the jar, the idea is that you can sit there with the jar and there's no holding it. So therefore, if the pendulum's moving, it's moving for a reason.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So that's something else I'll introduce. I saw that this past weekend. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. I will say when people use pendulums, there is one school of thought that says it takes both hands because you're going to hold it in your dominant hand and you're going to put your palm underneath. That's a lovely idea. Not everybody has a hand to put underneath. Some people need to steady their arm. You have to be adaptive with your workings in ways that make sense to you. So don't let anybody tell you you've done it wrong if you're not doing it the way they do it. If you're capable of doing it the way they did it, by all means, give it a fair shot. But if it doesn't work as well for you as what you're used to, do what you're used to. Sorry, a little editorializing.
No, but that's absolutely right. That's absolutely 100% right. I mean, there's no right or wrong. There's what does work for you.
Yes.
What works for you. That's what the important part is.
And I think, when somebody says you're doing it wrong, that's always what I envision is that the type of person who does it two-handed. I was not taught to do that with a pendulum. I was taught to just hold it. This hand can do whatever it wants. They can practice left-handed sign language. I don't care.
Not only that, but how are you supposed to put your hand underneath of it if you're using a map?
Yes.
Or a chart. I should call it a chart. They're called charts.
Charts, maps.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're using something, how do you put the other hand underneath that?
Yep. We have carried for years, and I think we're out of stock at the moment, a pendulum book that is just page after page after page of those charts. So you can pick the correct page for the kind of question you have and hold the pendulum over the page. You're not holding it over your hand at that point. So there are huge variations in the practice.
Yes. And I'll also introduce some of the charts. One of the last charts I was introduced to was like a yearly, I don't want to say prediction, but yearly chart giving you some information, insight to your year. And the idea is every 3 months after you do the yearly portion of every 3 months, you bring it back out and you revisit it and you see what was accurate, what was not as accurate. What is it that would have been accurate, but you changed?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question.
The other part I want to point out with any form of divination is a snapshot in time.
Yep.
So if you get a reading or you use a pendulum or any of the other modalities, if the results of something you don't want in your life, change.
Yeah.
Do what you would not have normally done and change.
It is one of the things I actually like about the much maligned Celtic Cross and tarot readings is that last card that gets laid down. I've almost always seen it phrased as likeliest outcome or words to that effect. It's not set in stone. It's not fated to be. This is probably what's going to happen if you keep doing what you're doing. So the easy remedy there is change what you're doing. So I agree completely with what you're saying. It is. Often people go for readings, whether it's pendulums or cards or runes or what have you, and they're looking to see what their options are because they're not sure what they want to do next. Well, that tells me that it's not a set thing. That tells me that even for them in their own minds, it's not fated. They know they have a choice. They know they have an option. They just want to be clear on what the options might be and where things are likely headed today. I once had a lovely woman who came for readings regularly for me. And for some reason, she fixated on me. She wanted me to do the readings. I have never officially been a reader here. I've only pinch hit here. And my readings tend to be short because of that. And really what it was is this was a woman of retirement age, roughly, who had her first crush on a woman. And she wanted to know what to do. And really the question came down to, do you think it's appropriate to ask this person out? They're in a monogamous relationship themselves at this point. Probably not. Are those feelings so strong that you want to take that risk anyway? How do you feel about doing? Those were the real questions in the situation. Do you think it's appropriate? And she wound up choosing not to say anything to this woman. So I'm going to say it was probably the smart choice, unless there were clear signals from this woman that she was in love with this other woman as well. So I think it turned out for the best, but it also turned out in the most probable way. What the cards kept saying, you got a chance, but maybe not. So it's all about options.
Yes. Yes.
But you don't just do readings. You don't just teach classes.
Right.
You also make more cool things than we have seen so far. And what are not in here, by the way, are the runes. I'm going to talk about the runes because they're cool too.
Oh, yeah. I will mention to the people who like trinkets and keychains, I restocked the trinkets and keychains. So there's a whole lot of more options again.
Yeah.
For the trinkets and keychains.
Including, I just got to show this off.
Tiny
little pendulums.
Yes. And actually, I should show off one other one if I can find it on here.
The wyverns?
The wyverns are cool.
They're basically legless dragons.
There should be a shark tooth on here somewhere.
Oh, I do vaguely remember.
Right
there you go. There's a little baby shark tooth in there.
Yeah.
Okay, if that just put that song in your head, I apologize. But there's the shark tooth.
Yes. I don't know if you can see it real well, but it is on there. The shark tooth. The shark tooth is something that just showed up in my life a long time ago. It's now on here for sale.
And if you're into tarot, there's little tarot cards. Yes. There's all kinds of fun stuff in here. Moons with pentacles. Yeah. One of the popular ones we've had is there's a whole bunch of different designs of what this looks like, but little bloody blades. They're just adorable, just with red ink on them. Let me get that back on.
And there's also small trinket pendulums too.
Yeah. They are great. Little bells, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Come check those out when you can.
And they're reasonably priced at $5.
They are. They're all $5.
Yes.
At least when they're here, they're all $5. Yes. And this is another piece you make.
Yeah. Well, no, I do not make this one.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Because it's only probably Darrell's stuff.
It's probably Darrell, but this one isn't quite Darrell. This one here, the phrase I tell people is it's made by an old witch down in Florida.
True.
And that happens to be my mom. She makes these. She does an awesome job. Each one's individual.
Yep.
And they're puppet dolls for positive use, for healing, really good for distant Reiki healing, really good for, like, if you have a headache, you can concentrate on the head. And yes, you can use a pin and put it into the head with the headache, and it'll help alleviate the headache. It is not a thing where you go, The most negative person I could say that I've sold one of these to.
Yeah.
Her husband is freaked out over the puppet doll. So when she gets mad at him, instead of fighting or anything like that, she just gets the puppet doll out and throws it at him.
What a nice soft doll. It expresses her frustration. It doesn't hurt him.
Exactly. I guess it works for her, so it's a good thing.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. And tell us a little bit more about the runes.
The runes, the ones that are here right now, they're all made out of natural clay, and they come in leather bags of some sort. The ones that are black light reflective come in bags that have a very colorful fur on the outside. That's the best way of putting it.
Yep.
And I believe pretty soon, probably next week, I'm thinking, I'm going to try to convince the owner here to have some witches runes here also. Yes. And also coming soon with the runes will be a small explanation booklet type deal.
Oh, very cool.
I made one up for the witches runes, and I'm in the process of making one up for the regular runes.
Oh, that's great.
But with the witches rune, I feel it's more important because less people are familiar with witches runes.
Yeah, we do carry a book on the subject, but there's far less material out there on it. Whereas the runes, the booklet will be great. If you're going to pick up one of the ones here that doesn't have a booklet, we do have a poster for a couple bucks, basically, that lists out the runes and their basic meanings, as well as several books on the subject, including some really nice ones that I would recommend highly.
Yes. Oh, and I should mention that the booklet that I provide is from my perspective, I
Mhm.
want to say that, especially when it comes to the Futhark rune ones. Um, I have my own book that I've kind of written about them, and I've taken the information for the little pamphlet from that. It's not necessarily going to perfectly mirror anyone else's work.
An individual's perspective
Yes,
matters.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's also something that tells me that even if you've already studied runes, this will give you a perspective you might not have thought of, at least for some of the runes. And it's just as valid. So
Yes.
it might be fun to have a look and see where you agree and where you could explore new
Mhm.
thoughts.
Yes. And where you can change. So
Yeah.
if you have, for example, if you had my pamphlet and you said, well, yes, but I have this feeling with this, fine, write it in.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing about having a paper copy of a book is you can make notes in it. I know that's terrible. And as someone who sells used books, yes, it can and often does lower the value of the book. But do you care while you own it? Write in the book, put notes in, especially if it's something like runes or a spell working book where you want to remember later that you did the spell or you read the runes and it didn't quite jibe, but you altered the way you did it a little bit the next time and it worked better for you. You interpreted something at a slightly different angle in the reading, or you changed up one thing in the spell work you did, and suddenly everything resonates. You want to remember both of those things, both what didn't work well and what did work well. Write it down. And yes, you could keep a journal separate from the books and keep the books clean and tidy, and that's wonderful. But I've got to be honest, I'm probably picking up the book to use as a reference, and I want my notes right there. Personal preference. I even have to tell my students while they're taking notes in herb classes, when I describe a particular herb, if a person pops into your head because you know the person who needs this herb, write their name in the margin. You'll never forget what this herb is for. You'll have a picture for the rest of your life. And by the way, thank you, Troy. He's one of those people. It was delightful. So runes, poppets, pendulums, keychains. Yep. The plate.
I should have grabbed more stuff.
Any other goodies you want to go over? Maybe some beautiful wands.
Oh yes, the wands. I'm going to trade that one out with you probably later this month, by the way.
Okay.
If no one buys the wand that's here right now, which is kind of a Reiki inspired wand, I have a dragon inspired one that I'll be bringing in.
That'll be very cool.
It has a wyvern.
Excellent.
Excellent. I think it's a little bit nicer than the one that's here.
Okay.
But
if you want something that's Reiki informed,
yes,
that would be the one to get.
Yes, and I'm also working on getting together a, I guess you could almost say it's almost like a rune set for the chakras, for the seven chakras.
That sounds like a really cool idea.
Yeah. Got a couple different molds that I finally got that I've been working with. Or actually, got to be transparent on this one. The wife has been helping me work with.
Because it is probably Darrell.
It's probably Darrell or family.
Yeah.
The last set of runes I made, I'd say that I got ready for sale. Over half of them were actually put together by the wife, and then I finished them up here.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because the time that it takes to create everything, and the time that I have, and the rate that I've been putting them out, is getting past my abilities. So the wife and my mom have been helping me, which is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, that's why it's probably Darrell, and it's what I like about the company. It's that people help out. Children have helped.
Yeah, actually, the oldest daughter. In fact, one of the things the oldest daughter is doing for me right now is there's a possibility that when I do publish my deck, that the pictures might change a little bit from me and AI to my daughter taking software and actually doing them herself.
Nice. So just a little artistic editing.
Because some people don't like the idea of AI being involved in any step of the process. So that's one change that may occur. I think it will. So she's working on that. And then the other thing I'm working on with the card is I got all the different card explanations and points of view made up. Some feedback I got from some of the other readers that I've shared it with was that they would think that the general portion of it should be a little more emotional,
Hmm.
less technical, because I am a technical type writer. So I'm working with that, and I'm still on schedule, I believe, for January of this coming January, being able to do a Kickstarter.
Yay!
I think it's reasonable now. Like my original goal was last January. Then I realized how much work was involved.
It is a lot of work.
Yes.
But it's a very cool deck. And by the way, it's a big deck. How many cards are in your deck?
There's a total of 108. 3 of them are signifier cards, so there's only 105 that are being shuffled.
And red with, yeah.
Yes,
You get
yes,
to pick out
yes.
the one the significator card that you think fits you best, which I think is fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you opt to buy the deck and you pick out the card more than once, because you're guaranteed to not necessarily pick the same card every time, because you change, your mood changes, your perspective changes, so you change that card out sometimes. And I think it's interesting to think about what that progress means, how those evolutions in one's life affect those choices and what they reflect.
Also, something I do for the signifier card sometimes is I will actually pull one of the regular cards as a signifier for if I'm doing a reading on basically something that they want to know about work. So I grab the work card and I'll put that as a signifier, or whatever question they have, whatever card would match that question.
That makes sense.
I've done that too.
That's very nice. So you're going to be teaching a class next month in July. So I didn't announce it yet because it's all the way out in July, but it's coming soon. Is that one on a Saturday or a Sunday? Do you remember?
Saturday.
It's a Saturday. Okay. So I'll be coming up on a Saturday soon. Be on the lookout for that, because by the time I get halfway through June, I'll be doing into July. So we'll talk about that soon, but you can also check it out online. If you've got the QR code in front of you, that QR code will take you to our events page, and you can find Practical Magic there, along with all the other classes and free events and other events like Black Willow Starling. That's where you'd go to get those tickets as well. Buy them today. You can come and see Darrell Mondays, basically lunch hour-ish. Tuesdays, after work-ish. Thursdays, lunch hour-ish again. And Fridays in those after work hours, only just 4 to 6. So every time he's here, it flips around, which is kind of nice.
Yes.
You get a nice smattering of the whole crowd.
Yes. Yes.
And of course, buy his stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
You make really nice stuff. It looks good. It works well. I get no complaints. I get
Great.
only compliments for your things. So, and if he's not here at the store, there's a chance he is at some fair or show near you, because you aggressively do shows and fairs.
Yes.
Where's your next little stop? Do you know?
This weekend is going to be the Viking Fest down by Mankato.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
You will have fun there.
I sure hope
With
so.
your fabulous Viking wares. The plate. Yes. This plate has a fancy name, does it not?
I know it's the Helm of Awe.
Okay. What's this thing?
But beyond that, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I always call them plates.
Plates works. We have several different styles. This would be the Norse. We've got Emrys Abner's ceremonial magic style ones. They're more Enochian based. So yeah, and we've got a few others from a few other people, some tiles and things that you could also use that way. So there's this wide range of choices, which is kind of cool, I think. But
yes,
come and grab those when you're ready. Come get a reading when you're ready. And of course, sign up for the fabulous class. It is just about time for us to end our little chat here today. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you very much. And I appreciate all of you as well. And so do the rest of the staff. Why? Because you're an amazing magical person, and we love that about you, of course. And we do appreciate the little magical things you can do right here. I know what they are. Just click the little buttons, leave the little comments. It's all good. Free to you. Helps us get the word out, which is always fun for us. Have an amazing week. You deserve it. And I hope we see you here again. I hope we see you at the shop or at the website soon as well. Take care and blessed be.